Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Okay, I picked up another one of the Rough Ryder Tortoise Shell with the black liners, and this time I picked up the Barlow. Now, if you remember, I was mentioning that I'm not picking up any tortoise shell knives that I don't already have from Rough Ryder, and well, I do have a Barlow already. However, this Barlow is slightly different, so that's why I went ahead and picked it up, because this Barlow has a single blade. It also looks like it's got a thinner handle. Could that be true? Let's see here. I'll start by going here. I'll go right at the pin here. Go at the thickest part. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the handle is definitely thinner. So it's a slimmer build on this Barlow than what we have on this Barlow. Definitely a slimmer build. I did not know that. Also, it lacks the Rough Ryder horseshoe up on top. That's one of my complaints about it. It does have the new shield, which is cool, the Tortoise Shield. And I don't know how well that Tortoise Shield would have gone into here. That might not have worked too well. But still, I would have preferred a Barlow without the shield. I've mentioned that many a times. I'm going to be all over the place in this one. This is another knife that was close to a Barlow that they made, and this is their trapper nut. But if you notice, it does have like a Barlow style bolster on there. And if you notice, both of these have the round horseshoe shield. This was the original way the tortoiseshell knives came. Later on, they came with the bow tie shield, the Rough Ryder bow tie shield. This is the Coke bottle. There's just about every imaginable Rough Ryder and tortoise shell, with the exception of the large toothpick. You'll find that in the Marvels lineup if you're lucky enough to find it. Things I do not like about this knife, I'll go over that real quick, and it's my typical comment about Rough Ryder Barlows. I don't like the rounded top. This is a personal preference. A lot of people like the round top. I like a squared off top on a Barlow. And by squared off top, I'm talking about like what you see here on the trapper nut that they have. Notice the difference in the way the shape of it is. This is only marginally a Barlow, because if you notice, it's got some finger grooves going on there. Plus, it's got the blades of a trapper. It's got a clip blade and a little spade blade, but you notice you got some like finger grooves going on there. But still, I throw it in with the Barlows more than I do a trapper. Any case, let's get back to the tortoise shell. That's what we were supposed to be talking about here. This is the fourth in the black liners that I have picked up, and this is also the best. Well, I think this one came in pretty good shape too. The little cub lockback. Actually, the cub lockback might be in better shape than the Barlow here. Action on this was pretty good. The main problem I've had with these knives is that they've had some of the black liner goop somewhere on the handle, and at first glance you think that the knife is messed up, so you might have to do some cleaning when you get one of these. The other thing that people complain about is, if you notice there, that's where the black liner is leaking in across the brass liner underneath. Or brass spacer. No, it's actually a liner. You got the brass liner underneath, and notice here how you don't see that spider webbing going on. Maybe it'll show up better in this one. This one has some really good pattern on it. But you do see some kind of a See there, you do see some lines going through there. They're just not as noticeable as what you see there. This, I've come to kind of like the way that is. It has like a third dimension to the tortoise shell. You have the darker brown, then you have whatever you want to call that, and then you see the brass shining through the translucent brown. And I've come to kind of like that. This side is much more smoky than the front side, which is common. This side is kind of plain. Notice that. And that's one of the cool things I like about tortoiseshell. No two are going to be exactly alike. They're always going to be a little bit different. Some of them are very dark. Some of them are very light. See there. And some of it is luck of the draw. Obviously, if you were in the store, you'd be able to pick the one you want. Biggest problem with this knife is actually with the shield. If you notice, the shield is not centered on the handle. I'm talking about going across here. It favors this side, the blade side. It's closer to the blade side than the spring side. It's just not centered. And it's also cocked a little bit there, and that I don't quite understand. Also, this corner up here is a little proud. At the same time, we're talking about a knife that's around 15 bucks, so it's not the end of the world. It is a nice looking shield. It is in there pretty well. Like I said, it's just a little proud over on this side. It's not recessed on that side though. Pins are very flush with the cover there. This one also, if you notice right there, there is an actual crack. It came with a slight crack in the acetate, or the acrylic. See that? There's a little crack there, a hairline fracture. I'm not too concerned about that either. It is nicely pinned in there, and hopefully the black liner is a type of epoxy so that you keep it in place. But you can even see right there the little crack. This is under magnification though, so. Blade pull is, I think someone else was talking about it. It's a very light blade pull. So if you're like a light blade pull on a knife, you're going to like this single Barlow. Someone else, I think it was Thrifty Kniffy, might have just recently reviewed this, and he was talking about this as well, that the blade pull is very light. It's probably around a 3 or 4. More likely 4, but it does, you know, that's a problem for you, then you know what it is. On the older ones, obviously no half stop. The pull on these older ones is probably around a 5 or a 6. The older ones with the 2 blades, everyone complained about the fact that they couldn't get to the front blade. You can get to it no problem. You can get to the back blade no problem. I don't know. That complaint was always very weak to me, especially considering there's enough push here to go down that you can easily get to the back if you need to. Depends on the person though. This one, obviously there's only 1 blade, so you only got 1 match strike pull. You got the 1 swedge. Blade steel is 440B. You will notice there's a difference in the shine on the blades. This one has a more satin finish. This one, the older one, has a more mirror polish. 440A versus 440B. That's the difference in steel. And well, I don't know. I don't sound thrilled about this knife, but I actually do like it. And I picked it up simply because it is a single blade Barlow, and I'm hoping to see a lot more single blade Barlows coming from Rough Ryder. I would love to see them switch over to a squared off bolster in their lower line, but there's quite a few little differences in this knife than in the older Barlow. And now I've got to go and see if the new Barlow handles are slimmer than they used to be. Okay, so here is the Rough Ryder Stoneworks Barlow. This is a their new pattern of Barlow that they're doing. And if you notice now, you have the pin blade on the reverse side. So this is the old way they did them. Notice it looks pretty much the same. But what you have is the pin blade up front, and nested behind the pin blade is the other pole for the clip blade. I like this way better. However, they've gone the way of Case, the way Case lines up their Barlows, their two-bladed Barlows. And you've got the clip blade now up front, and the pole for the pin blade is now on the reverse side. Now, I usually just pull from the front side anyway. I know where the pole is. But what most people end up doing is they turn the knife around and then they pull. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. That's the difference between their old two-blade Barlows and their new two-blade Barlows. This is a new one. This one is an old one. Now, I just measured this a minute ago, and we see that is pretty snug there. Let's see. Yeah, there is no difference in the two-blade Barlow on the handle size. The handle size on their two-blade Barlows is the same. However, for this one-blade Barlow, it is a much slimmer line. It's probably about perhaps 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch slimmer than their two-blade Barlows. So it is a different frame for the single blade versus the two-blade Barlow. Something else to look for in there. So far what I have in the ones with the new Tortoise Shell is the Barlow, the little cub lockback, the bow trapper, single blade bow trapper, which is pretty cool. This one really looked nasty when I first got it. Action is much better now too, now that I've cleaned it up and everything. Just came dirty. That was the big problem. And then the other one I got here is the cotton sampler, the large cotton sampler. And it also came dirty, but cleaned up real nice. So will I be getting more of the new Tortoise Shell? Well, it depends entirely on the pattern. If it's a new pattern, I will pick it up. But if it's a knife I've already got in Tortoise Shell, chances are I will not pick it up. And I've got a lot of Tortoise Shell. Matter of fact, I'll show you pictures of the Tortoise Shell I have in the slideshow. The only knife for sure I will pick up if it comes out is a medium toothpick, or a large toothpick, or a large fish knife. And this really should be in a large fish knife, a tortoiseshell knife. Yeah, like fishermen like to catch turtles. let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.